Thank you all for coming out. I know it's the tail end of the con, but we've been having so much fun, and we are here to talk about intermediate fighting game concepts.
Yes, we are. Let's go to the next slide here.
Who are we?
We are the New Challengers. We are a charity organization that stationed right now we're in Afghanistan. Well, it was in Afghanistan.
We're here
doing
now.
events and stuff for deployed soldiers, NATO forces, Armenians, Bulgarians, as well as civilians overseas. We do a lot of work with the USO, hosting tournaments, advising them on which games to get, making sure to get the latest Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, whatever, because that's not usually on the top 10 of the buying. But always support the USO, that's what we're all about. This is our original crew right here when we first got started, back when I was blue.
And not the Holy Emperor.
Not the Holy Emperor.
So my name's Ivan. As you can see, I'm dressed up right now as Robert from Art of Fighting / King of Fighters. I'm gonna have to update the look for the next King of Fighters 14. I'll talk about that later. But you know, decided to give it a shot.
So
My man, introduce yourself.
My name is Jarvis White. I'm awesome. All right, well, the major concept we're going to go over today are special move properties, interpreting frame data, and hitboxes. That's the primary thing. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been to our first panel 101, but we go over a lot of basic stuff. So if you're still trying to grapple with the fundamentals, this panel is going to go a little bit deeper than that, but not so deep that you still can't learn something for it. So thank you for joining us again if you have come to our panel before. Right on. Okay, frame data.
We're going to jump into this. So, has anyone heard of what frame data is? I see hands. I see hands. Who actually uses frame data in the middle of a fight? I see a lot of hands dropping. That's okay, because neither did we, and because it's kind of a nebulous thing. Now, what we have here, this is actually an official Capcom guide, including frame data. And you're going to see this frame data. The frame data is out there. But what is frame data? What is a frame?
In every second, you have 60 frames. So if somebody says something like 1 frame, that's 1/60th of a second. So if you hear somebody say 1 frame link, that's you doing a move within the 60th of a second to connect with the move. That's stupid. It's dumb. Come on, Capcom. Slow it down. I don't want to be playing Marvel 3 trying to do 1 frame links. But they exist, and it's good to know where they are and when they are so you can get the rhythm to tap out whatever buttons you want to get. Now, when you're looking at these charts here, initially it might just look like a bunch of random numbers. But I like to think of fighting games like a bunch of squares and numbers. That's all it really is, with a bunch of cool little palettes for you use rippling biceps.
Now, every game ever, every video game ever has frames in it. Everything you do, every action taken, every sound played in a game is made up of frames. Most games, especially these days, runs at 60 frames per second, which is they divide the seconds up in 60th, and that's how the computer calculates it. So when you start thinking of how the game thinks, you can start breaking it down. So every game has frames, but we're going to use the knowledge of the frames to our advantage to get better and level up our game. And we'll start from the basics. So right here, when we're talking about, right here when we're talking about frame data, and they're like, here's your frame data. And we're like, okay, what do these numbers mean? Here's the thing, when you press that button, there's a bunch of things that happen when you press that button and you throw out that jab or that strong punch or some heavy kick or whatever. So right here we're going to have Ryu's crouching medium punch, and we're going to compare it to Ryu's crouching fierce punch, or crouching medium punch, crouching hard punch. The things that you really have to pay attention to when you're reading out this frame data, you're like, what's important? What do I need to take away from this? What is this thing telling me about this move? The first thing you need to know is the startup. How fast does it come out? Usually the lighter attacks come out faster than the heavier attacks. So the smaller the number of the startup, 4 frames, it's a 4-frame move. It comes out at 4/60th of a second. So that's pretty quick. And then you look over here with the crouching heavy punch, the startup is still 4 frames per second. So that the time it takes for that move to come out and hit, that's called startup. What I didn't put up there is what happens in a lot of video games, and it's kind of a nebulous concept, but hold with me. It's a thing called input or display lag. You know what I'm talking about? Does everybody know what I'm talking about?
Is everybody aware of the whole debacle with Street Fighter 5? How people keep crying about, oh man, you got this 3 frame off the window and it makes me so I can't do my combos. That's grow up.
Yeah.
Play the game. Come
Everybody's got to deal with it. So basically, whenever you press a button in a game, there's a certain amount of time before that input is registered with the computer and displayed back to you. So that doesn't include the startup. It's actually the time between the time you press the button and the time the move starts to come out. So that's called input lag, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
And this can grow even further when you have things like you're playing Melee. They still play on 2 televisions because you don't have as much display lag.
Right.
So if you're playing on an HD monitor, you have like 2-3 frames of lag, and then you have input lag as well, and then so you have some jump frames or something like that you have to account for. It really complicates things.
Yeah. So sometimes you can actually feel it, like the time between when you hit the button and when you get the desired effect. There's like a little bit of a delay. Sometimes you have to deal with it, but as long as your opponent's dealing with the same thing, get over it. But just know that there's the input lag. Then we got the startup. The startup of a move is really important to know how to combo and what beats what. So that's how long it takes for the move to come out before it hits the opponent.
A lot of what you're looking at when you read the frame data, though, is on hit and on block. Because you want to make sure things are plus.
Yeah,
Plus is what you
we'll get
want.
there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
The next thing we're talking about is active frames. Active frames is important. That's how long that move stays out there. How long that kick is going to be able to touch the other person. It's not just one instant thing. There's a period of time where that fist is out, or that kick is out, or that fireball is out, where it can hit the opponent. And the fact that there's active right here. So it starts up at 4 frames and it stays out for 4 frames, 4/60ths of a second. And that's important. We'll talk about that later when we talk about meaty setups.
I'm sure you've all played Street Fighter 4 before. Makoto has about 5 years of frame.
About 5 years. Not 5 frames, 5 years.
5 years.
Medium punch.
Throw that out
You just
there.
walk up in that.
It's a wall.
Yeah, it's a wall. It stays there forever.
Advantage on guard or recovery. Recovery is when you're reeling back. So Makoto, after her 5-year stint, she finishes college. She pulls back her arms. She's got her diploma in one hand, her cap in the other, and she's got her arms back. The time it takes for her to get her arms back and get back into her ridiculous fighting stance is a time that you really can't do anything. Now, sometimes you can cancel the ending frames. You want to find something that's going to cancel your recovery. If you're recovering, somebody can do what's called punish you. That's hit you during your recovery.
Right. And one of the things you see right here, what's the main difference between a medium punch and a fierce punch is other than the damage is 60 here, the damage is 90 there, but that's not the only thing. The recovery on this, 8 frames. The recovery on this, a ridiculous 28 frames. If you throw out that crouching fierce punch and it's kind of hanging out there, you're going to be coming down from that for a long time. It's especially like if you throw out a DP, the recovery frames of you just like hanging in the atmosphere and like re-entering the atmosphere and going through like decompression as you come down, that's ages and ages and ages of recovery. So especially if you see something like a Shoryuken, the recovery frames are going to be huge. As opposed to 8 frames, which is hard to punish because it's, you got that much time to react, as opposed to 28 frames. That's why you want to cancel that move into something a little safer. But then we're going to get to the real deal that we want to talk about, advantage. Advantage is a mathematical calculation based on the amount of hit and or block stun you put your opponent in and your recovery. And we'll play it out to you, but when it says on hit or on block, let's say you throw out this medium punch and it hits him. You're going to recover 5 frames before the other person does. If you hit them and they block it, this dude, you're still going to recover 2 frames before the other person is done reeling back from that block.
So Makoto's medium punch leaves you in about 17 years of block stun. So she hits you with a medium punch, she gets married, she raises a family. And during that time, you can't do anything, you're still in block stun. Now there's certain moves in certain games, like KOF, where you can use an attack to break out of block stun and kick them away. So you go ahead and kick Makoto's kid in the face as they graduate college. But aside from that, you're stuck in block.
Yeah.
And while you're block stun, a lot of times you can't be thrown or anything like that. So you're pretty much just chilling in block stun. Makoto can do whatever she wants. She can take a cross up, she can set up an overhead, anything like that. Now, on hit's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
As you can see, the crouching medium punch is +5 on hit, and it starts up in 4 frames. So you can go ahead and just throw another medium punch out there. Dakota, look at you with that.
Yeah.
So she'll leave you and like, she'll hit you with that attack. You're in approximately about 135 years of hit stun. She can go ahead and hit you with another medium punch if she wants to.
And then
or
the whole
she
thing
can just go
starts
flat
over.
on life for the weekend.
Yeah. So as you can see with Ryu, just like Makoto and her ridiculous hit stun, we love Makoto. She's got so much active frames and hit stun, it's fun. But okay, so on hit, right? +5. So you got +5 to do another move. What you can do? The startup is 4. You can sneak another one in there and you go 1, 2, combo. This one, right here, on hit, can you combo this? On hit, it's actually -13. It's actually unsafe on hit. That's why you gotta keep it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that in Street Fighter, if it's 5 and 5, like if something leaves you at a +5 and you have a 5-frame attack, you can link it to 1-frame link. Skull Girls now. When you read their frame data in-game, because they have in-game frame data because it's a superior game, what ends up happening is it has to be more frames, one more frame than the actual attack needs to come out. So it has to be 5 and 4, something like that. Okay.
So you'll see this in a guidebook. So now you kind of understand what that means and how you can apply it. So just looking at this chart right here is like, I don't want to just hit end with the crouching fierce punch because I can get punished. I'm going to want to cancel it. On this one, you can see that you can combo because it's +5. Also, it's safe because they're not going to be able, they don't have the frames to punish you on this.
Yeah, so when Ryu hits that crouching heavy punch, and he's holding up his fist in victory, all right, I finally hit this dude, I'm feeling great, everything's fantastic, I'm gonna go call Ken. And you're sitting there like, hey, dude, I'm still alive, seriously? And then you hit him, you know, with a massive combo.
Yeah.
That's the end of the
So
day.
we are going to break down these frames so that you can kind of visualize it. Do we have that?
Yeah, we do have that.
We do have that.
It's supposed to be summer, it's fine. You just went ahead and explained everything anyway.
Let's move.
I just let you do it. The Emperor has no need for function the game.
Got it.
Special move properties. We're going to get back to frames, but let me go over this quickly. Special move properties. Time, meter, life, positioning. Distance correct.
It is. Is this the right version?
No, you didn't change the slides.
You downloaded it.
I downloaded it from you. That's awesome. There it is.
Okay, there we go.
Stop knocking on the corner bit. I don't
Okay.
know why the extra slides in there. I think it's because our boy here plays the main Miguel. Look at him kick Jen in the face.
Look at, yeah, look at Miguel.
Hard knockdown. Okay. Anybody play Street Fighter 5? Okay. As you know, there's not as much hard knockdown in that game unless you get countered, right? Street Fighter 4 was full of hard knockdown. That entire game was like autopilot. What that is once you knock someone down, they can't get back up. You've got to wait a set period of time. Now everyone is different, which is really annoying. But some people get up in 44 frames, some people get up in 40, some people get up in 45 frames. You just got to know the matchups.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other concept.
Which is crazy. So they get, you get swept and they're on the ground just taking a nap. And they're like, hold up, this fight's not over, but I got to take this nap. And it gives you all time. It gives, like, they're just laying on the floor. It gives the other guy a lot of time to set up his next move.
Yes.
So it's good to know what moves put him in hard knockdown so that you can set up your next move. And we can talk about that later, but that's really important to know the difference between hard knockdown and soft knockdown.
Soft knockdowns, they just kick back up. A counter hit. Counter hits are interesting. They're different in every game. Now, most games, a counter hit occurs when you hit somebody with the start of the next attack. So if Ryu goes to throw out that crushing heavy punch, but he gets hit with a medium punch instead, he's in a counter hit state. In King of Fighters, counter hits only occur when you interrupt somebody's special move or super combo. So,
And a lot of times, the frame data is actually, in some games, the frame data actually changes when you hit someone in counter hit.
so for instance, you might get 25% extra damage and plus 2 frames on the attack. Now, usually with light attacks, they don't add extra frames because that'd be ridiculous. But if you get a heavy attack in there that, might leave you at like a +4, all of a sudden you're at a +6, you can make a link that you wouldn't be able to make before.
Yeah, start a bigger combo.
Now, you've got to know how to create counter hits with things like tech traps and frame traps.
But you have to have an understanding of frame data to know what a frame trap or a tech trap is.
Okay, attack levels for special moves. Now, when they say special move properties, we're not just talking Hadouken, Shoryukens, and Tatsumakis. We're talking about move properties for all attacks. You've got attacks that are in the air on the first frame, you've got all these things, but for the most part, you've got attack levels, high, low, and overhead. Also, you might know it as mid. People who play MK or Tekken or Injustice. Mid attacks are attacks that hit over low blocks.
So you cannot block them low.
There's also crouchable high attacks.
Yeah.
These are attacks that can be crouched underneath. I understand what happened now. Wow, it's wrong.
Say again?
It's the wrong slideshow.
Okay. Okay. All right. You see up here, that high kick, that would be something like a high attack. Tekken is definitely, the whole game is high, mid, low. So that's a high, this is a mid, he's getting hit with that low over there.
And overhead would be something where you're hitting over, like when you twist his spine.
Yeah.
It's like, and he hits over their head. You get a sweet overhead attack. Throws. Normal, command, and strike throws. We actually have examples of everything up there. Shingo's throwing that 80-year-old man on his head up there. That's a normal throw. It's also a crime. You have Zangief over there. He's doing his spinning. Oh, he's doing his super combo there.
That's the super throw.
He's doing his super suplex. It's really lame to see because it's just the same thing 3 times in a row. But it's a super throw. It's a command throw. You enter buttons before you press the button you want to press. So you press like full circle twice and punch, and then you grab them and you do things. And over here is a strike throw. Strike throw is a block.
Yeah.
Anybody play Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Jin Seo Tome has a strike throw where he lunges at them, grabs them, and then drags them around the 4 corners of the screen. And he's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, that throw can be blocked, but it also can be comboed into. So, strike throws are great because you can combo into them. Now, in games like KOF, you can actually combo into throws.
In most games, you cannot combo into a throw, meaning you can't put someone in hit stun and while they're reeling back, then throw them. It doesn't usually work like that. Usually you have to use a strike throw, which acts like a regular move until it hits, and then it goes into a throw animation.
Now,
Normally, the person has to be like ready to go, not in hit stun and not in block stun for you to get these kind of throws.
Now, normal throws. Usually normal throws, you can counter normal throws with other normal throws by inputting the same buttons. DOA is a bit different. The throw button, when you throw them just pressing it by itself, you can break that throw. But any other direction you press, you can't break. So everything else is pretty much command throw. Command throws you normally can't break out of.
Can't at all.
That's cool.
Forget that one.
Command throws you can't normally break out of because you enter buttons and it's more complicated, there's more startup or things like that. Exception to this rule would be Shermie in King of Fighters. She has a move where she suplexes you and she counts down to 3. She counts up to 3. She gets to 3, you're instantly KO'd.
That's
Fun
cool.
fact. Press buttons. Press buttons if you're fighting Shermie.
Yeah.
Press them.
Yeah.
You will be instantly KO'd if you sit there and watch that. It's fun to hear it go 1, 2, 3, which will be cool.
Yeah, it is fun.
Keep that in mind.
Right on.
Strike
So-
throws a block.
Yes. Say again?
Strike throws a block.
Yeah, strike throws kind of act like regular throws, like regular moves until they hit, and then and then it goes into a throw animation, and then sets up after that. You normally cannot combo after a strike throw, but you can combo into them, like our friend Jack's here.
Now, I want to say something about throws here. We have a lot of Tekken people in this room, right? DOA people?
All right,
I'm sorry if I'm loud. Not a lot of DOA people in here. Do you have crouchable throws? And you have crouch throws that can only throw people out of that, like King in Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah, if they're ducking, yeah. Even he's got that in Tekken as well, but yeah, pour one out for Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That was very good.
Just knock everything over. It's cool. Just knock my mask over. The Emperor has no need for mask. All right. Hitboxes and hurtboxes.
Let's talk about it.
Look at our friend Yu Narukami.
All right. You Narukami from Persona 4 Arena. Now, this is a, yeah. All right. I mean, some of these I approximated. Why we talk about hitboxes is because what you see in a fighting game is most likely not what you're going to get. A lot of times what you're going to hear is, how did that hit me? That, like, yeah, right? How did that hit me, dog? We'll kind of show you in a second. It's because what you see here, they make the sprite, but that's just for show. That's just to like represent you on the screen. What the computer's really seeing is a geometrical equation that accounts for the shape at any point in the screen. There's hitboxes, there's hurt boxes, there's throw boxes, all kind of boxes. But you have to understand that it's normally a geometrical shape that the computer is looking for.
Keep talking. I'm going to get the right slideshow up.
Yeah, okay. So let me talk about hitboxes, so we can go back to frame data and everything like that. So, you know, a lot of times what you'll see, and I'm going to use Street Fighter Cross Tekken as an example. I love that game. It brought Hugo back. Hugo's a massive Massive character, am I right? I am right. He's standing here and he's like, shaking his head like he's got cerebral palsy. He's got a massive box around him. It's easier to hit, but sometimes when he throws at his slaps, you'll see the hand actually, like the fingers will actually pass through the opponent's face. And it's like, why am I not, like I'm hitting him, but I'm not hitting him. It's because if you actually look at the boxes, you got the giant hurt box of Hugo, but then the hit box only extends out to about his wrist. And then like you need to kind of have an understanding and a feel of where these boxes begin and end, because the sprites aren't always going to tell the truth. Some games, and we'll show you, some games will give you those hit boxes. Other games, you're gonna have to go in training mode and figure it out. You know, does everybody know why? There's like if you go to a certain fighting games and you have the training stage and it's like lines. Does everyone know how to use that? Here's how I use it. There's lines, the percentage is like lines on this table. I'll set the dummy up right at this line. And you know you got like boxes, right? And I will stand there and I will press all the buttons and I'll inch my way forward until I connect with that move, so that I know exactly how far and exactly what does it look like when this move hits. Because sometimes it really looks like it hits and it should hit, and sometimes it doesn't. You actually have to test the extent of the hit boxes and hurt boxes.
All right, and actually this is the correct slideshow.
This is the correct slideshow?
Yeah, this is correct.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
All right.
so hitboxes versus hitboxes. Look at Skullgirls.
Look at Skullgirls, everybody.
All right. They actually have frame data and hitboxes and hurtboxes
Right in
there
the game. You don't have to buy any guides. It is right there. So this is actually, a lot of the hitboxes I just drew up in there, not scientific, don't take my word. This is gospel. This is what the computer has generated for you. Big Bang. He's big. What is this right here? Say again?
Saxophone.
He's a giant saxophone. But what I'm saying, look at all these green boxes right here, right? These green boxes right here, they signify where the computer thinks he is on the screen. If you notice, the mouthpiece is at the very top, not covered. If you kick it, the attack will slide right through.
But you wouldn't want to kick it, because you can make really cool songs. Have you seen the YouTube videos? They're awesome. You can do like the Cowboy Vivo.
Yeah, I know, right? What's this blue hitbox right here? I think that's his throw box. Like your throw has to hit this blue box. It's a little different. It's a little different. Some games it's different. I know, right? This right here, he's attacking with his trumpet. These red boxes.
Not like the video running service.
Not at all. These red boxes are the attack. When we say active frames, these red boxes show up on the screen, behind the scenes, of course. If you notice, it stops right about this little spark here. So it's kind of nebulous when you're looking at the screen. You're like, how far does this trumpet blast hit? You know, it's like halfway through this longest spark. So you have to get a feel for those things, and the best way to do it is in training mode, or go to Skullgirl, play Skullgirls, and look. And over here, if you can explain this one, you can see the ratios of the hitboxes. Peacock, that's right. You can see it's not at the very edge. It's not at the very edge of the move. It's a little bit farther back.
Gotta keep that in mind.
Gotta keep that in mind.
Sweet pokes.
Like, here's an example from our game, King of Fighters.
Fighters 13 right here. Look at all those sumo wrestlers back there. Japan is actually like that.
Yeah, sumo wrestlers are everywhere.
Yeah.
So here we go. Kyo is pretending like he got hit in the gut.
Even though that foot clearly hit him in the face.
I know, but look, these sprites aren't touching.
No,
Like, artistically, they're not touching. Like, visually, you can't see that they touch. But it clearly hit because this hitbox interacted with his hurtbox. So sometimes it'll look wonky. You need to get a feel for that in the training room, in matches. Be like, oh, wait a minute, that throw whiffs, or that kick whiffs. And it's all about what the computer thinks about the hurt boxes and hit boxes. So what you need to do, get in training mode, press all the buttons, try out all the situations.
Anybody ever play Yin and Yang in Street Fighter 4? We know you did in Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition because they were the guys with that game. Now, when they do their little sand palm fist where he goes, huh, it actually hits in front of him. That's an interesting move to actually watch and see because you can sit there and go, ha, and hit them, and you don't have to touch them. Takuma, the King of Fighters, he will throw a fireball, but you don't see the fireball, but he can still hit you about halfway across the screen.
Yes, good sir.
I did play a bit of Yin and Yang in Street Fighter Third Strike, I think.
Okay.
Third Strike. And I noticed that one of them, I think the more attack-heavy one, he has a fake out on that move, but I've watched him do it a million times. I cannot figure out the benefit of that.
A fake
It
out
doesn't seem
move?
to be any quicker.
Have you ever played Street Fighter Alpha 3?
No.
Okay, Ryu has a fake Hadouken, where he'll throw it out and cut it really quick. You're trying to get a reaction off somebody or make a move, like you'll do like a heavy attack, you cancel into that, we'll keep blocking, but they'll be confused, and then you want to make that command throw afterwards. That's what you want to do.
Because if they're in blocking, the command throw will hit and they'll flip over then start combo.
It's also a good way to gauge someone's reaction, space moves, because you're playing an opponent, you don't know how slow they are. You'll be playing somebody, and it could be me, and I'm on point all the time, and I have frame reaction times, but some people might be a little bit slower than normal people, and you might be fighting them, and you go to hit them, and you want to test them out, so you do that fake in there, they're waiting for that hit, and it doesn't come out. Then you do something else, a little mix-up. Yeah, there you do.
So talking about frame data and hitboxes, we can explain things like invincible moves. Who here has ever thrown out an ultra and tried to hit a Ken in the middle of Shoryuken and they're like, whoop?
An even better example would be Sakura.
Oh
Her
man.
EX Shoryuken has about 9 years of invincibility in the beginning of
She
it.
turns into Shadowcat from the X-Men and can just like walk through walls. She has no like tangibility. She can just phase through objects like vision.
And sometimes you're looking at the game and you're like, how is this happening? Clearly Sakura is standing there. I can see her. I can see more of her than I want to when she kicks high like that. What's going on? You look at it and look at this. Ken is crouching. He's going to do a crouching Shoryuken.
He hasn't hit the move yet.
Now he starts to move. His hurt box is gone.
It's gone. It's like he's not even there. We'll get to you, brother. But yeah, then you notice, because this is my rendition of it, most of his dragon punches are completely and utterly invincible on startup. So he starts up, there is no hitbox on him. The next move, when the fire starts, there's actually a hurt box on him that starts. Still no hurt box.
No.
So if you're here and you're throwing a punch or you're throwing a whatever, and he here, and his will win because he's not getting hit, but he'll hit you back. Unless you're doing a invincible move at the same time.
In which case you'll go through each other. Like if you use Dan's EX uppercut versus Ryu's Shin Shoryuken, you'll just press up against each other and land. You feel really bad about yourself that you wasted Ultra on Dan and got beat by the EX.
Yeah. So as he's going all the way up, he's all kind of hurty, and then that hurt box comes back.
And this is a refreshing point in time where you're just watching him fall and you're just waiting.
And you're like,
I'm that crush counter, I'm gonna hit him with anything I want. I'm gonna go buy his wife flowers. How do you feel about that, Masters?
my man over here with your hands up, what's up?
So the thing about Sakura, does this only happen in one specific game, or does it happen in every game she's been in?
So look,
Street Fighter, I'm referencing Street Fighter 4.
Yeah. But a lot, I mean, Street Fighter has invincible frames in it all the time. There's a lot of characters, I mean, Shoryukens have invincible, Sagat's Tiger Uppercut has invincible frames, Sakura's Shoryuken has invincible frames. You need to test these out.
Back in the day, Street Fighter 2, people used to use the weak punch Shoryuken to go through fireballs.
Yeah, so it's like Fireball, and he's like Shoryuken because it'll just phase right through. Because that
Yeah, I always wondered about that.
That's because what you are seeing is this magic right here. There's no hurt box whatsoever there. There's nothing there.
stuff phases straight through him.
Okay, I see.
You got it?
Yeah.
No, you don't see because it's not there. There's no need for ignorance. All right, moving on. Projectiles. Look at my girl mature over there with her one eye. She magically got back in 14. Weird.
I know.
A projectile is just a gigantic hitbox. You can't strike it.
Token.
I mean, you can try. I've tried before. Take damage. Try to use Makoto's medium punch on it because it beats everything else. I mean, why can't it be fireballs? Capcom needs to patch that. Now you have my man Takuma over here. He probably needs to put that Mr. Karate mask on because his normal punches aren't going to break that fireball. Anybody play Art of Fighting that actually got that reference? You got that?
He's got
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, projectiles are an interesting thing because like we said, when they start up, it's all just like this hurt box and it travels the screen. It has special properties to it too.
Now, the glorious thing about fireballs is, think about the way you play fighting games. Now, 2D fighting games specifically, you're controlling a plane on the screen. Now, there's fireballs in Tekken, Jinpachi, but what you end up having here is, oh, sorry, laser eyes. Oh, everybody knows about the laser eyes, am I right? There's fireballs. Now, fireballs are used to control space on the screen. That fireball's on the screen, Takuma has to do something about that. He can't just sit there and ignore it or he's going to take damage. There's 39 seconds left, he has a life lead. I would just block and just continue backdashing and say, come on bro, bring it. I don't care, I don't need to win. I can just backdash all day long, which I have actually done that very regularly.
It was great. It was high.
It was very high.
Yeah. But this particular fireball, you see, this particular fireball that the Chur had is really tall.
So Takuma's going to have to either jump over that, throw his own fireball at it, block it, roll through it,
Or some moves have properties that their hurt box is what we call projectile invincible.
yes.
Okay, Tatsumasa Senpukyaku, the Hurricane Kick, has frames in it.
You said that whole thing.
I did.
Thank you.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Spin kicks?
Not the nigger.
There's a period in time where he's spinning through the air and breaking the laws of physics, where it's what we call projectile invincible. They look like that fireball will hit him, and he's just like, whoop, 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 just straight through it. Now, his other hurt boxes are still there. He can still get hit and trade or whatever. He can still get blasted, but not with the fireball.
Yes.
Like a lot of dudes, like in Street Fighter 4, they have EX moves that will add projectile invincibility onto those moves. A lot of people, especially like in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where they're like, okay, not everyone has a fireball, but everyone needs a way to beat fireballs.
Fireballs are very strong.
Yeah, so there are some moves, a lot of ultras in Street Fighter 4 will have projectile invincibility on part or all of that move. You know, someone's trying to chip you to death and you're E-Honda and you wake up, you're like, check this out, Ultra! Whoop! It'll just pass through it. Blanca's EX ball, it'll go straight through a Sonic Boom.
But not in Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Not in Street Fighter.
No, don't try.
But these
No,
are
do
things,
try, it'll be funny. Record
listen,
it.
you're gonna come in, no matter what game you play, someone's gonna sit there and throw Sonic Booms, Hadokens, Kyokens, whatever, to try to control your space, to try to push you away. If you know what your moves are, and if one of them has a projectile invincible move, you can time it to just blast straight through. My man over here.
Like, for example, Champ has like a very interesting.
Who does?
Champ from King Fighters.
Yeah.
Like, is it either both 2002 or 13? When he lays on the floor and he does the roll, like, depending on which one, like, it has, I can't really like, figure out the hitboxes. Like, I don't know if it's conformable or if it's just a normal specifically like, just for projectile, the roll. The one where he goes forward and
Oh,
You
this
talking about
special.
Shin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can roll under fireballs. He can do that. Now, KOF is unique. It has high and low fireballs as well as ground level fireballs.
Yeah.
So, for instance, my main man, Kim Cap 1, has a move where he stomps on the ground. It has a hit, it's an attack, but it has projectile hits in it. So he will actually stomp on the fireball and extinguish it. So if Kyo or Iori goes like, ha, and throws Exorcism of 100 Demons or whatever it's called, he'll throw it out. It's what it's called.
I love it. It's awesome.
Exorcism of 100 Demons, blah, he throws it out, Kim will stomp it out. But if you try to do that against Takuma's little high fireball, his little invisible fireball, you're not going to be able to stomp
They're not
it
going
out.
to cancel out. Yeah. Nikali's stomp in Street Fighter 5 is it's actually, I found out recently, the hitbox on it is actually a projectile hitbox.
Even more ridiculous, DJ, and pretty much every game he's ever been in, those little upper machine gun punches he does, those are all projectiles.
So like, it'll actually cancel out Hadouken.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. So those are little tidbits that it's good to know, and a guide will show you that, and you're like, oh, how can I use that projectile to my advantage? What's up, my man?
Even if the hitbox is disjointed from the hitbox, like a normal can't cancel out, especially.
It depends. Now, you can start to talk about counters and stuff like that, which can counter special moves like in Street Fighter, but you can beat special moves with normals. Like Makoto's medium punch could. I beat short punch. It's weird.
It depends on the hitboxes.
Special moves don't automatically trump normal moves. Normal moves don't automatically trump special moves. Now there is priority in certain games, like Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 5, where heavier attacks will be lighter attacks. So like a heavy will be a medium, medium will be a light, so on and so forth. But it's not cut and dry like special moves are going to beat this and that. KOF, it is cut and dry with throws. Normal throws will be normal attacks. Special throws or command throws will be normal throws. And super throws will be everything in the universe.
Yeah.
You can actually catch the Browse Galactica Fountain Phantom if you want to. I would not do that. I would jump over it. Seriously. He's leaning back and he's yelling, Galactica Phantom! Just do anything. Don't catch it. But if you do catch it, post it on YouTube and send me the link. Okay, I went back to frame data because this is the correct one. Now, we went over frame data. We want to show you visualizations of the frame data so you can see what happened. My man spent some good time making these charts, so we're going to show you these charts. You're going to like it. Look at this chart. Look at him. He even put in the input lag in the beginning.
I did. I figured, why not? All right. You're playing the game. You don't think of it like, I sometimes think of it like this. You press this medium punch button, this crouching medium punch. This is the same one as from the guide. So you hit down, you hit medium punch. This is when,
That's the system working.
this is the system working. This is it coming through your TV, whatever. I put 8 frames of lag because that's the BS number that they throw out for Street Fighter 5, right? This is the startup. This is the fist is coming out. This is the beginning of the active frames, where the frames are active. Now, if that punch hits cleanly in your face, the hit is actually on the very first frame of the active frames. That's when either the block stun starts or the hit stun starts. So this is the stun. This is what your enemy's doing right here. So the blue is, if they block it, that's how many frames they're in. If they get hit by it, that's the hit stun. Does that make sense? The amount of time that they're stuck in whatever stun they're in, if it hits. So the hit is on the very first frame of the active frame. So they get hit here, you gotta finish attacking, and then the red is you pulling the fist back. So that, the recovery, that's your 8 frames of recovery. Now, at the end of your 8 frames of recovery, on the medium punch, you can see they're still blocking for 2/60th of a second, 2 frames. So this right here, where you have the option to attack again or whatnot, whatever you do is going to be 2 frames before whatever they do on block. That's what we call safe.
That's safe.
It's actually advantageous on block.
That's what you mean when you say advantage on block.
Can't punch it.
Dude, it's advantage.
It is an advantage. And on hit, wow, look at this advantage.
Now look at the startup there. You can
8 frames on hit. How much to start up?
You can just put another one in there. That's how you make your combos. Now, of course, what you hit them against, you can push it back. So you can't just forever just go block, 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 unless you're playing King of Fighters 2001, which that is a thing that happens.
Yeah, it does. But normally it moves them away until that combos drop. But you can hit 2 of these easy. Now, let's talk about that heavy punch. You notice it's a little different.
You still got our input lag at the beginning, and you still have your startup. Startup's about 4 frames. Now, the active period is much longer than the medium punch. When he's rising his fist up, he's in for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
But look at that recovery.
28 frames.
Even if you hit them, if you don't cancel the attack into a fireball or some sort of combo, or shoryuken, or tatsumaki, because there's a special recovery we can talk about.
Yeah.
This crouching heavy punch forces standing. Now, have you ever done a combo before where you try to hit somebody, and you're doing your combo, and they're going, and then that last hit completely whiffs?
Whiffs. They're just like.
Some attacks, high attacks, are actually crouchable high. So if they're crouching and you hit them, they stay crouching and they're just getting dragged up, ow, and you use that standing thing, and they're like, oh, hey, thanks, man, and they punish you.
Yeah, because your legs hanging out there, and you're like, okay, now it's my turn.
So you got to be careful with all this, because not only could a move just be unsafe on hit, but if you're canceling into a move that's crouchable high, like the Tatsumaki, Yeah, you can still be punched. Now, the crouching heavy punch is special because it forces standing.
When you,
actually,
if they're crouching and I come over and I'm like, blah, it'll stand them up. So then if I do Tatsumaki, it will hit.
it'll hit them.
It will hit.
So that's what's going on there. That's why you want to try to learn combos that'll force standing. And then things like hard knockdown.
Yeah. But if you look here, look at this block style. If they block your crouching heavy punch and you don't cancel it, they're blocking, they're blocking, they're blocking. You are minus this. What can you do in this period of time?
You pretty much do whatever you want.
I make a ham sandwich.
I would also make a hand sandwich.
With some mayo, some mustard.
I need to go pick up pepper from the store, so that's going to take me at least 4 more frames.
Yeah, you can come back and start the combo.
Yes.
All right. So, and even on hit, with this particular move, even the hit stun is less than this. That's why you need to cancel this.
Yes.
Does everyone know what a cancel is? Raise your hand, because we went over this in 101. I'm sorry.
You want to cancel that subscription.
Who does not know what a cancel is?
All right, let me.
All right, let's go over this. Rewind.
All right, a link. A link is when you use an attack, you complete the attack, and then you hit them again.
Like we were talking about in the previous move, hitting that twice.
Yes.
Okay, a cancel. Oh, hey, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
A cancel is when you throw out a normal move, either hit or block. You are pressing the motion to do the special move after it. So you hit that medium punch, blah, and then immediately you hit the Hadoken. You don't have to wait for the fist to recoil. You cancel the recovery of the normal into a special. It's called special cancel. Blah, Hadoken. Like you don't even have to pull back up or even stand up to hit this combo. So that's called cancel. We got links, we got cancels. Those are the two, and juggles are the 3 main ways to do this. So we're gonna display how to cancel real quick. And this is why that crouching heavy punch, you see how it's ridiculously unsafe, even on hit? You see that? That's why you have to cancel it into something else, so that you're not just standing there going like this, looking like a moron, getting ready to get hit after the ham sandwich is made. Okay, so we got my man Ryu here. We're gonna go Candy White, my girl. Here we go. All right, so that's the medium punch. That's a link. Everybody see? See, he hit that, he pulled it back, he hit it again. It combos.
Street
Because
Fighter
there's
5 is so hard. Oh man. Oh man, Street Fighter. Oh man. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
all right. Did you break? Okay.
Yeah, it's very-
Okay, now we're gonna talk about cancels real quick. What he's gonna do is gonna hit that medium punch, and while he's hitting that medium punch and that medium punch is coming out, before, like when Cammy's still in hit stun, he's gonna hit down forward and then hit it again. So let's see that. Oh no, that wasn't it.
Hold on a second. Okay. Street Fighter 4 is so hard. Street Fighter 5 is so hard. There we go.
2-hit combo. You see that? He doesn't even have to pull back his fist before the Hadoken's coming out. She's stunned as all get out.
That was a super.
Super cancel. That fireball's out, he cancels the recovery frame into the super. So what you want to do when you cancel, what are you canceling? You're canceling the recovery frame where you're vulnerable. All right, does that make sense to everybody?
Can I understand that?
Wow, awesome. Okay. You wanna? Okay, yeah. So she's crouching, right? See that? That's a duckable high. See how that hit? Because stood her up. We are not proponents of domestic violence, it's just a video game. But you see what's going on. She's crouching. That whips. That hits. Does everybody understand why?
So what you want to do is instead of doing this, you want to do something like this.
Links all day. Look at that 3-hit combo.
Why can't I do that and add a punch or a Hadoken? I don't know.
The most common special that you use all the time, this is for free, crouching medium kick to fireball. There we go, that's that combo. He linked the medium punch to the heavy punch. Because remember, the heavy punch, 4-frame startup. Medium punch, 5-frame advantage. That's a link. See that? You can link them together. 1, 2. 2 complete moves, no canceling, it's a link. Blap, blap, and then the Tatsumaki is a cancel. That's a link. Boom. Got it. All right.
Wow. Why?
You didn't turn on stun. There we go.
All the damage in the world.
Nice. 400 damage. Okay. Whoa. We're gonna have to.
Gosh darn it, Dustin, not good. Don't watch this video. Please don't watch this video, Dustin. I'm so sorry.
Shout out to Dustin Humber Hitbox. They may call it broad. All right. We're gonna move on. So, does everybody understand what we're trying to say about the unsafe attack as opposed to the safe attack? Medium punch, safe as all get out. Throw it all. If you throw it out, if it hits, you're okay. If this heavy punch hit or miss, if you don't cancel it, not safe. Because that time, the white space down there is disadvantage. That's advantage, the other one's disadvantage. Now, everyone remember where I was talking about this startup, where usually the hit is right here. We're going to introduce the concept that will bust so many scrubs, it's not even funny. So who's ready to bust some scrubs? It's called
Bustin'. Scrub bustin'.
Raise your hand if you're vegetarian or vegan. Excellent, because we're going to talk about meaty attacks.
Yes.
We're going to get into the steak. We're going to get into the steak of things. All right, there's plenty of different ways to do meaty
I
attacks.
don't appreciate you being funny anyway.
Okay, man, I'll tone it down. I'll tone it down. You're the funny.
I'm the funny guy.
Dig this. Remember when we talked about hard knockdown, where you sweep them and they're sitting down like on the ground taking a nap?
The Emperor has no need to get back up.
No, not at all. So they're on the ground. What if I threw out my attack where when they wake up, they get off the ground and their hurt box appears? My active frames are still there. So they're getting up, but I have already thrown my kick. I do this all the time in the collie because his standing heavy kick, he's like, "Rah!" That's unsafe. It's got like 16 frames of recovery. But if I throw it out before that person is even there, before that hurt box appears, I can hit them in a later time in my active frames. Does this make sense?
Okay, so you're throwing the medium punch, and what's with the active frame? So it's at the tail end of the active frame.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Whew!"
Okay.
But they're not like, when I first throw the move, they're not there yet. They're still taking a nap. So in slow motion, this is a dramatization. Punches out.
Ow. Why would I do that to myself?
I know.
I'm hit stun.
Yeah, so now he's in hit stun, but guess what? I don't have to wait 4 frames to sit there and flex my fist. I'm already reeling back.
So your recovery doesn't start here at the beginning, it starts at the very end, which means you get all this extra time.
So all that displaces to the right. So what you're gonna see if we compare to the regular safe hit as opposed to a meaty hit, we got plus 6 on block and plus a ton on hit. Making certain moves safe if they're not unsafe before, and making certain combos available to you because you get more advantage. Does that make sense? Meaty attacks, especially in Street Fighter V, are really powerful. You throw out that move before they even get up. If you nail them, you can hit them with a lot more damage. We're gonna try to demonstrate this right now.
I can't demonstrate because I play Cammy. The Emperor has
This
to
dude right here beat my face with the meaty attacks. I was waking up trying to throw out a jab. I was trying to wake up jab because it's my fastest move. Trying to stuff whatever he's trying to do. But I'm like, wake up, jab. No, the medium punch is already in my face.
Can I give you guys a little pro tip for training mode?
Pro tip.
When you start it, get your attack data on, your key display on, and put your guard to after first attack or one hit guard. This way, you can see if you're actually comboing or not. Okay.
All right.
Now, normally, you can't do that. That doesn't combo.
That does not combo at all. Why? Because you don't have enough advantage on hit. Make sense?
Now, this on the other hand will combo.
Counter
See
hit.
that? Counter hit. I didn't do it there because I was slowing down. But
See how I said counter? He turned it on. It's as if he was thrown. It was as if he's in the startup frames of his other move. It gives you more frame advantage.
I give you like a +2 on hit. So now my medium punch is even more advantageous So I can do that. Now, would you actually want to do that in a match? No, because you can't cancel this. Why would you want to do that? You want to do something where you can actually get damage out of it. Not that. Not that.
All right. Now, I don't know if we can do, yeah, we can do meaty attacks. Because you can set it to wake up jab. You want me to set it to wake up jab?
Yeah, I don't do that.
We're gonna set it to wake up jab, where he's gonna try to wake up and try to jab.
I never woke up and jabbed anyone. My mom was so mad at me when I was taking her to school.
It's time to go to school, Emperor. Blah.
The Emperor has no need for school.
So this is a really cool feature in Street Fighter 5. Wake up actions. So what I'm doing, see right there, it said reversal. When I did it, that meant I jabbed at the first active frame that I jumped up. So he's gonna be jumping up and then throwing that jab. God, you look so imperial. Yes,
Would you like to see Imperial Mercy? No.
so I'm setting this wake up recovery so that first I'm turning it on, right? So watch this.
Yeah. He's up.
Jab, first frame. All right.
Okay.
Now we're going to show you a meaty setup.
Maybe.
Maybe. Let's see if we can do it. It takes practice and it takes timing. You have to anticipate them coming up and hit them with your active, like the later frame.
No.
A little too soon. So it takes timing. That was a little late.
No. Stop it. Yes.
Boom! Right there. See, he linked that. He linked that.
Oh my.
Get out of my house.
Now listen. I get blown up sometimes when I'm trying to do these meaty attacks, but like pros, they will practice those meaty setups. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna try to wake up. Even some invincible reversals will have a frame or two of startup, and you can blow it up with a meaty attack. Sometimes I'll knock someone down, and I'll just be like, heavy punch, and it just blows them up. And then usually, if they're pressing buttons, it's a counter hit for more damage. Correct? Rude.
Excellent.
Who here understands meaty? We all understand meaty attacks? We all good?
Yes, sir. 5 minutes.
5 minutes? All right. So we talked about,
That doesn't work. Keep going.
okay, so we talked about frame data so that you can understand. Try to find situations when you're reading frame data, see, why am I getting blown up? Why does this move not count another move? Look at the startup, look at the special move properties. All the stuff is available on the internet or in a guidebook. This is very helpful. You need to research that. Research meaty setups. There's all kind of ways to do meaty setups, not just on wake up. Sometimes I'll hit people in the air and do an air setup reset. Are we at the end of our slideshow?
That's it. We did all the things.
Does anyone have any questions? Because we only got what, a couple minutes?
We've only got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes to answer your questions. Yes, sir. Oh, buffer system. Yes, there is a buffer system. A lot. It's important to buffer. A lot of times, like I'll do a command grab, I'll do the half circle back, I'll take a step forward, then I'll hit punch, and it'll happen.
If you guys want to play us online, or give me a call, you go ahead and I got business cards. I don't have many, but I can give you my information. We got gamer tags, emails, or whatever. Thank you for coming to our panel. Support the USO. Please support the USO. There's a lot of great things.
Thank you.